Welcome to our tutorial. Requirements: embroidery scissor, water-soluble stabilizer, fabric, tape, ribbon, embroidery thread, clear vinyl and sewers glue pen. Fusible stabilizer is optional. A complete list can be found in the color chart. You first need to stitch the design that you will be using for the lining. Hoop 2 layers of water-soluble stabilizer as tight as possible in your hoop. Place the hoop onto the machine and stitch the first color directly onto the stabilizer. Apply a little sewers glue inside the stitched circle. Place your fabric over the stitched area, making sure it covers the circle completely. Return the hoop to the machine and stitch the next color. You're welcome to use a smaller piece of fabric than the one shown in our example. Your fabric needs to be at least 6 by 6 inches. Once this line has stitched, you can continue stitching the design. Please do not trim the excess fabric yet, as you will need the alignment lines that will stitch onto the fabric at the end. Once completed, you can remove the design from the hoop. Please ensure that you do not trim off the alignment lines. You will be using them to help with placement on the next design. We are now going to stitch the second design. Hoop 2 layers of water-soluble stabilizer in the hoop as tight as possible. Place the hoop onto the machine and stitch the first color directly onto the stabilizer. Place your background fabric over the area that has stitched and stitch the next color. You can use a bit of glue to help keep the fabric in place. Do not trim off the excess fabric once stitched. You can continue stitching the design until you reach the next appliqué position line. Stitch the appliqué position line and remove the hoop from the machine. The line that has stitched indicates where you are going to place your ribbon. Turn your hoop over and place your ribbon over the line that has stitched, ensuring a small piece is on the inside of the circle. Use some tape to help keep it in place. Place the hoop back onto the machine and stitch the next appliqué line. This will stitch the ribbon down. You can then immediately stitch the next appliqué line. This is the alignment lines that you need to place the lining. Once stitched, remove the hoop from the machine and turn your hoop over. Take the design that you have stitched first, and place it right side up at the back of the hoop using the arrows to help with alignment. You can use some tape to help keep it in place. Place the hoop back onto the machine. Ensure your lining does not fold back onto itself when placing the hoop onto the machine. Stitch the next line. Carefully remove the hoop from the machine and trim your fabric top and bottom. Be careful to not cut off your ribbon. The next step is to place your clear vinyl. This step is optional. Place the vinyl at the back in front of the design. Important, you need to place an additional layer of stitch and tear stabilizer at the back of the hoop for this step. This is to prevent the vinyl from sticking onto the bottom of the machine whilst stitching. Place the hoop onto the machine and stitch the next color. Once stitched, remove the hoop from the machine and very carefully tear off the stitch and tear at the back. You can then trim away the excess vinyl. Be careful to not cut off your ribbon. Trim away any excess threads and place the hoop back onto the machine. Stitch the last color. Once stitched, remove the design from the hoop and trim off the water-soluble. To rinse it out, just dip the edges of the satin stitch in some lukewarm water. You can now hang your ornament on your tree.